Good to have you on the program. You know, I'm always thinking that we're, in this day and age, we can easily become victims of fraud or victims of scams. But why does it happen with increased frequency during heavy shopping seasons like Black Friday?
Well, we're all busy, and many of us are looking for extra deals and extra bargains this year, like you mentioned earlier, because of the tariffs. And with that, we're getting bombarded on social media with things that look really cool and hot, and we want to make sure we get the deal, we get it quickly before they run out. And don't forget, criminals and fraudsters now have AI as a
Yeah.
tool at their fingertips. And so it's making it very cost effective for them to target you and me while we do our holiday shopping.
Okay, so I want to get to what we can do to protect ourselves. But before we do that, Theresa, how are they using AI to target us? What does that look like, and how could that look differently than the scams that we're used to?
Yeah, so they're basically reverse engineering websites that you or I might go to that are legitimate websites. And then they're doing things like a play on the name and then setting up imposter social media accounts and basically jumping into your feed. Then you follow this great deal. And then the next thing you know, you're buying from a scammer or a fraudster, not from the actual website that you think you're visiting. They're also spinning up businesses using bots to actually give themselves great reviews. So it all looks like it's on the up and up, but just a little bit of diligence and a little bit of research, you'll be able to figure out and spot the scam sites and the fraud sites pretty easily.
Okay, you mentioned diligence and research. You shared with our team reputation checkers for websites. I had never actually even heard of these or used them before. Should these be part of our diet when it comes to healthy shopping?
Yeah, I love the fact that you brought this up because I personally use these websites, especially if I'm going to a site I've never ordered from before, even if I have a friend or a relative tell me they've used this site. So things like Scam Advisor, URL Void, Trustpilot, and I will post these on my social media accounts. These websites will actually tell you how old the domain name is. It could be legitimately a brand new business, or it might be a scammer fraudster taking advantage of holidays. So it'll also tell you whether or not security companies or consumers have reported issues with these sites. And of course, old school still rules. The Better Business Bureau is a great place to check on a domain name as well.
Okay, so I think that, you know, for me at least, one area that I always think of as a backstop is the way I pay. And I'm only using credit cards on these websites because I feel like if I have an issue, then I can just call my credit card company and they can protect me. Are people using other payment solutions that might not have that same level of protection?
Yeah, this is the tough part, and I agree with you. I only use a credit card when I am shopping online. I do not use my debit card. I don't use gift cards to shop online. What's happening is a lot of these scam sites and fraud sites will say things like, we only accept Venmo or Zelle. We only accept gift cards. We only accept wire transfers. So they might say, well, for this to work, we're international. We have to have a wire transfer. These are red flags when a merchant tells you they will only accept those forms of payment and they won't accept credit card. Chances are you're dealing with a fraudster because they know the credit card companies will actually come after them and shut them down. So they want you to use these other forms of payment.
Other red flags, maybe a price is too good to be true?
Yeah, so if you see things like 70 to 90% off during the holiday season, that is typically a red flag. Now, unless you're on sort of a household name website that you navigated to on your own, you didn't follow a link in social media, you didn't follow a link in an email or a text. So if it's too good to be true, also look at that domain name. When in doubt, there's a website called virustotal.com. You can use it for free. Copy and paste that website in there, and it'll actually evaluate the URL and tell you whether or not you might be dealing with a scam site.
Okay, Theresa, before we let you go, if you do somehow become a victim of not necessarily a cyber attack, but maybe an attack on your identity or some sort of scam, what should be the first thing you do?
Yeah, first thing you do is you want to call your bank. So whatever payment method you use, you need to lock down your life. The next thing to think about is actually you can report it at the FBI to ic3.gov and the FTC at ftc.gov. But also there is a nonprofit resource that is free to use called the Identity Resource Theft Center. It's a great nonprofit. I've referred people there, and they will actually give you a checklist. You can talk to a real human being and work on getting your peace of mind and your identity back.